Good evening, my noble knights. This video is actually being recorded right after another one, which was the 150 video or subscriber notification, which I was really excited to see. I won't lie, and my original. Oh, I'm sorry. I really get excited about that. Let's leave that for that video and try not to get too over drastic and all that fun stuff. Anyway, you can see it's currently uploading, about 23% done. But anyway, as I mentioned in that video, I joined the Delta Battle League and another league, but for this one, we're talking about the Delta Battle League, and in it, I took over for Miami Infernapes, yeah, the Miami Infernapes, which never showed up for their season, unfortunately. So I'm going in with a very awful record because I literally took over their win-loss, and so we have a -12, 4 losses, 0 wins, and yeah, no, it's not pretty, obviously. Our surviving Pokemon rate is a literal 0. Just not what you want to see, but I decided to take over for that team, and maybe get something done, turn that loss record from 0-4 to maybe 6-4, maybe. That'd be pretty cool. I would be happy just breaking even with that record, because that means I basically have to win almost every single game, and yeah, this late in the season, that could be pretty difficult. They have a lot of momentum built up, so we'll have to see how that goes. But that being said, we are going up against the Sacred Fire of Chicago, and I'll refresh the page because the icon doesn't like to load for some reason because of that. Regardless, though, also means I have to hop back to it. Unfortunate. But while it does that, we'll just talk a little bit about the Sacred Fire, or the Delta Battle League, and the rules in it. Now, this is a singles format, which is good because I prefer singles. I always have. A singles format, and Z moves are actually locked onto Pokemon, so you can't, like, have a Z move slapped on Cofagrigus when your Z moves are on Black and Mew. Now, that doesn't mean both of them have to run their Z stones, it just means that they can. None of the other Pokemon can do that. So we got Kyurem Black with the Z move potential, Mew with Z move potential, Zapdos, Mega Aggron, Greninja, with Torrent. Of course, we're not going to let Protein or probably Battle Bond. I guess Battle Bond might be possible, but doesn't look like they have the Battle Bond form here. Embor, Cofagrigus, Aromatasi. I don't know how to say that properly, but, you know, whatever. Tauros, Kricketune, and Sandslash. Now, that's an interesting team. It's got some interesting threats. The Kyurem Black, big player in OU, very powerful, has good bulk, and okay speed. It's just got a lot of weaknesses. Mew, pure Psychic type, 100 base stat across the board, can be very bulky, can be pretty powerful, can do a lot of different things. And with the ability to learn every move in the game, pretty much, good Pokemon. Every TM anyway. Okay, it's not quite as good as Smeargle with the move, but it's as good as it's going to get. Zapdos, pretty versatile Pokemon with a lot of power, good speed, and its versatility, like I mentioned, is pretty good with like Defog, Roost, Thunder Wave. It gives a lot of options. Tailwind, yeah, it's got choices. Mega Aggron, powerful Pokemon. At least on the physical side, very hard to break there. And with Filtration, it doesn't take quite as much damage. Its pure Steel typing is a bit of a mixed bag because it doesn't take as much damage to, say, a close combat as it used to, by any stretch of imagination, but losing its rock typing does mean it also loses, like, some of its 4 times resist, which can be unfortunate. I guess if you're really worried about a flying type, you know. Greninja, Torrent, fast, powerful, versatile with a large move pool. The one nice thing is I don't have to worry about it switching up types. That'll be handy. And Boar, that hits like an absolute truck. And if he's running like Reckless with a Choice Band, that can literally 2-hit KO or 1-hit KO the entire metagame. I'm not even joking. Adamant, Choice Band, and Boar can with the right coverage move, one-shot like 80% of the entire roster of Pokemon, and then the others, they get two-shotted. So don't mess around with Embor. It's powerful. And apparently I've been disconnected from Showdown, but I don't care. I'm not going online right now. Cofagrigus, it's slow, but it's a Trick Room Pokemon. Very threatening with that Embor in the back wing. Plus it can run like Nasty Blot and then Calm Mind, or it has options. Curse, Pain Split. It's a very versatile Pokemon. You never know what Cofagrigus is going to bring to the table, but it is very difficult to actually kill. So that is a definite problem to deal with. If you can hit it right, yeah, you can deal with it, but at the same time, not a fun Pokemon to fight. Ramatasi, it's mostly a bulky cleric, which means you want to get that thing killed as quickly as possible, but it's very hard to kill on the special side. So that's going to be something of note. Tauros, it's quick, has a lot of power, and sheer force makes it very threatening. The bulk issue isn't really too bad, and it does have a few other flaws, like it doesn't get a lot of moves that get the sheer force boost, like Earthquake, but gets things like Rock Climb, so, you know. Kricketune, that's an interesting choice. I really don't know what to expect from Kricketune. I mean, it's a bug type, and it has some options, I know that. It's just, you never see them used. So, you really don't ever see the Kricketune pop up, and that could be an interesting thing. My guess is it's because of the whoop noise that it makes. That is my guess. Oh, it does get Sticky Web. Okay. I didn't realize it got Sticky Web. I don't know why I didn't. I mean, it's had it since Gen 6. I know that. But I didn't realize it had that, so that's a thing. Anyway, that being said, while that tries to load, unfortunately, it got disconnected, as you can see. We'll go back over here while it tries to fix that, resolving the problems. I hate this net sometimes. ISP, sad thing, sad thing. Well, the router is actually acting up right now, so that's going to be a problem. But yeah, we're going to need to talk about how we're going to deal with his team. Looking at it, he's got a lot of major threats and no super glaring weaknesses. I mean, he doesn't particularly enjoy rock-type attacks because of like Chiron Black and Zapdos, but he does have like Aggron. Embor doesn't mind rock too much, I mean, because it is half fighting. So rock isn't a bad thing to bring with like Kricketune and stuff, but the team I was given doesn't really have any rock types, unfortunately. Great. I'm so sorry, this is really a thing, but you know. I'm just going to look through the options that Kricketune has while the Delta Battle League page reloads. Gets Flying, Bug, Fighting, a lot of normal moves, a lot of hidden powers, of course. Knockoff, that's not bad. Leech Life, which is actually a pretty good move now. So I can see it be interesting in use. And it does get Technician, which means, unfortunately for that, Leech Life is not going to get the boost from that, but it does get Swarm, so if it's really low in health, that could be interesting. Its speed tier is kind of sad, and its defense is nothing to write home about, but it has a couple of interesting moves. Anyway, that being said, let's go ahead and go look at what we got. We got the Mega Alakazam. It's fast, has a lot of power. Got the 100 stat boost, which is pretty threatening. Volcanion with the Z-move potential. I don't know if I would have agreed with the Z-move being put on there, but, you know, I can't do anything about that. Breloom, that is an interesting Pokemon. I could definitely use that to some degree, for certain. Kyurem with a Z-Stone, or Z move, or Z move, or whatever you want to call it. Galvantula, Sticky Web user, okay, I can work with that maybe. Blastoise, kind of was wishing it was Mega, but I can work with it. Toxicroak, that is a very interesting choice. It really is. On one hand, I never have really used Toxicroak, but I know in the right situations it can be really threatening because it has access to like Sucker Punch, Poison Jab, Gunk Shot, Knockoff. It's got a lot of options. Drain Punch, decent speed tier of 85, and then like Dry Skin, and then the Poison Touch. It's got options. It really does. Drapion, Dark Bug type, another bug insect, which I'm not too fond of seeing two bug types that aren't ones I typically run, but Dark and Bug, interesting options. Means I have a bit of a fairy problem there. But wait, yeah, 2 bugs because of Galvantula. I knew I had 2 bugs. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to just go through the analysis here. Registeel, very, very bulky, but outside of that, it doesn't do a lot besides like set hazards and Toxic Stall and rest. It doesn't do much outside of that, unfortunately. Good mon, but, you know, it doesn't do much else. Granbull, interesting choice with the fairy typing, Intimidate, and some decent power. Makes it a choice. And then last but not least is Claydol, which is certainly an odd choice, to say the least. I like Claydol personally. I really do. But I wasn't really expecting to get Claydol. So that's an interesting thing. Now, looking at his team, the things that really stand out to me are the Kyurem Black, the Mew, the Zapdos, Greninja, of course, and Boar. And I'd have to say Cofagrigus. Those are the ones I'm most concerned about. Now, the others are still of concern, but those are the ones I'm most concerned about. And so, going through this team, I needed something that could deal with Kyurem Black, Mew, and Zapdos. Now, all 3 at once, not going to happen, but I wanted to get something that could deal with these 2 just because they are such heavy hitters. Mew tends to be specially run, so I knew I needed to have both power and a way to take the hits. So I decided on Volcanion, and I decided to give it the Assault Vest so I can take Mew's hits a little more comfortably, and I made it as bulky as possible while still not losing any power. So, of course, I'm running Steam Eruption, go figure. It's a great move with base 110 power and the possibility of burn. You can't say no to that. Fire Blast, running that so we can get the possibility of a nice hit off. Earth Power, we can kind of guess what that's for. And then Focus Blast, I'm actually running just for a couple of reasons, like maybe nail Greninja on the switch in. If I predict it, I doubt it will, but if the team make, you know. Then also for Mega Aggron, I know Earth Power does a lot of damage too, but Focus Blast, just kind of one of those, I can take the risk of using it because what I'm facing, I'm faster than, and he just switched it in or whatever. So it's there just as an option. Unfortunately, I didn't really see a need for Flash Cannon. Sure, it'd be nice for his Aromatasi, but I figured Focus Blast would do me more good in the long run. Just to potentially nail something on the Switch that doesn't like it. I might change that to Flash Cannon, but I'm not too worried about Aromatasi. Next, I decided Kyurem. I decided to make it as fast as possible. Slap on Draco Meteor just for that immediate power. Ice Beam, and then Earth Power. The Ice Beam, of course, is mostly for the Zapdos, but it also will come in handy for like Sand Slash. So yeah, it's there. Earth Power, just a general good coverage move. Hits a lot of things, like the Mega Aggron, where it couldn't hit it otherwise, so I need it. That's why it's there. Next is Breloom. Now, Breloom is an interesting Pokemon. It did get Technician, and so a lot of people like to run like the Bullet Seed, Mach Punch, Sword Stance, and I don't know. One last move, like Spore. That's right. Wow, okay. I don't even know what it does anymore, apparently. But I wanted to run the Poison Heal set because having that extra bulk would be pretty handy. And if I could get a lot of different sleep spores off, get some key things put to sleep, hide behind a sub, and focus punch things, oh, that'd be so nice. Grass isn't really the best coverage move here, but it can deal with Greninja decently, and don't have to worry about him breaking my sub with Water Shuriken, because even if he does, Seed Bomb will hit and probably kill. So that's why I'm running that. Otherwise, I might change things up a little bit. Decided on Poison Heal as well, just to deal with burns a little more effectively, because his team does have a lot of different possibilities to like spread Toxic and stuff like that. Mega Aggron could like decide to throw a Thunder Wave my direction, and Breloom really does cover my bases when it comes to status in that regard. Next is Toxicroak. Looking at his team, the Greninja still stands out as a threat, so I decided to run the Dry Skin because it's basically Water Absorb, but different, of course. And so I figured if I do the Dry Skin, I can absorb a Scald, I can absorb a Hydro Pump, I can force him to U-turn, which I resist quite handily at that because of the Poison Fighting type. So Toxicroak actually comes in handy, and I like that. I really do. It also has a pretty good speed tier, and it compares very favorably to most of his Pokemon. Tauros and Kyurem Black, as well as Mew, all outspeed and Zapdos, and of course Greninja, go figure. But outside of those five, it outspeeds basically everything else. So once I get rid of the things that are faster than Toxicroak, I can get like a Sword Stance up and just sweep from there with Gunk Shot and Drain Punch. Possibility of also smacking with a Sucker Punch on things that are faster than me. +2 Sucker Punch might not be quite as powerful as it used to be, but it still will do some decent damage. Cool. Next is Claydol. I decided on it, and looking at his team, I decided Ice Beam. I've got enough ice with the Kyurem, so I don't really need ice outside of for the Zapdos, so I'm going to run Psychic. Now, that does mean that Greninja will be immune to it. I wouldn't want to stay in on Greninja anyway with Claydol, so that's a moot point. And Aggron and Resist, but it resists Ice Beam too, so it doesn't matter in that regard. So I decided, you know, Psychic, I get the stab, I get the power and the potential to drop the special defense. Figured that was, in this case, better. Decided to run Rapid Spin, Stealth Rock, and then Toxic for kind of a generic defensive set, but you gotta have some kind of defense in singles. Then I decided Drapion. I really am tempted to maybe go Scarf and then switch up its moves a little bit. Decided Rock Slide because it hits the Kyurem Black, the Zapdos, and Emboar for good damage, or super effective in a lot of cases. It'll hurt Tauros quite a bit. It'll really hurt Kricketune, and it's a good coverage move because of just how many things it hits on this guy's team. Crunch, you can guess who that's for, Mew. Sword Dance, just to get the power, and then Earthquake. That'll deal with Emboar, no problem. Mega Aggron will not appreciate a +2 Earthquake, among other things. And at the same time, having the Drapion does suggest maybe Toxic Spikes, so he may be a little concerned about that and keep on bringing like Zapdos in to try to defog if I try to set up like that. So could work out all right. So that is the team build for the moment. We'll see how it works out, and hopefully we'll be able to turn one game into a win right away. So yeah, that is the team build. I'll see you guys next time. Later.